Hey friends, it's Sarah from SJ Florals, and today I'm going to share with you this super easy tutorial on how to use acrylographs as watercolor. So first of all, the materials, I'm using an A5 notepad and I'm using these colors from the Jewel collection, which I'll include in the description, a plate for my palette, a glass of water, 2 round paintbrushes and a pencil. The round paintbrushes are a 2 and an 8, and also I'll be using a Sakura of America Pigma Micron pens to outline after I've painted. So I will be using a 01 and a 05. Okay, so the first step is pencil in the design. Do whatever you are comfortable doing, or you can use the printable that I've got included in the blog article, which is the one that I've drawn here. And once you have penciled in your outlines, it's time to prep your palette. So what I do here is I pump the Acrylographs quite a bit. It's sped up significantly, but I pump it quite a bit to get the paint flowing. If it doesn't flow so well, which you'll see when I go to use one of the ready colors, I just keep shaking it and priming it to get it to work properly. And yeah, just shake and pump it a little bit. And then once you've got about a pea size blob of paint on there, just straight away add water to it, because if you don't add the water straight away, the paint starts to dry, and because it's acrylic paint, you can't reactivate it. So once it dries, it's drying and you're not going to be able to make it work like a watercolor. So you have to add that water straight away. And then as you can see here, I am just painting, and I'm literally just painting the way I would with watercolor, mixing the colors together, adding a bit of water, and dropping in extra pigment on the wet paper. I even go back over a few of the leaves later on, so I've gone quite heavy with the water, and there's no bleeding or anything. Here's the point that I was telling you about with the red. It was quite hard to get the paint flowing, but I eventually got enough to use. And yeah, here I am mixing it just like I would with watercolors. So it's super easy, and you can have a lot of fun with the acrylographs, and you can use any combination of them, and there's so many colors, so it's awesome. You've got like a massive selection of watercolors at your disposal if you've got acrylographs. And once I finish painting the flowers, I think I'll go back in a second and I'll add a few more leaves. And then what I do is I wait for the paint to dry. It's very important that you wait for paint to dry if you're going to go back in and outline with a fine liner, because even though the fine liners I'm using are waterproof, if you're going back on wet paper, it will still bleed a little. So it's important to make sure you let your paper fully dry. You can either just let it sit for 5-10 minutes depending on the temperature where you live, or you can use a hairdryer or a heat gun to dry the paint. And then once that's done, we go back in with the fine liner and just outline everything. So I use the 05 micron for outlines, and then I go back in with a 01 for a little bit of detail. Not much, but you can obviously go in with way more detail if you want, or you can just stick to keeping it like very basic with just the outer outlines and no detail whatsoever. It's really up to you. That's the fun of using these tools and just being creative, I guess. As we reach the end of this tutorial, I just wanted to say I hope you found it informative, enjoyable. I hope you've got a beautiful illustration that you've created using these steps. And if you have enjoyed it, please consider giving a big thumbs up. And if you're not following already, make sure to subscribe to Archer and Olive's YouTube channel. If you'd like to see more florals, you can head over to my channel and see some of my floral tutorials on there as well. I'd love to see what you've created using this tutorial, so feel free to tag me at SJ Florals on Instagram so I can see what you've created using this tutorial. Thanks for joining me, guys. Until next time, bye!